What is up, Jungle Podcast listeners? So excited to announce the release of the Jungle Devo Pod. So excited that we get to do this and have the opportunity. So let me explain what the Jungle Devo Pod is. Ultimately, we're going to have one-on-one interactions, interviews of different members of the floor. And we're going to just talk about what it means to live like Jesus and what does that mean in a culture that we live in, living on a college campus, especially since all of us are below the age of 25. What does that mean? What does that look like? Break into topics, different subjects and areas like music, sports, just life in general, have different opinions on various topics. But what does that mean? Hopefully breaking into a lot of scripture. And so I'm excited to see what we get to talk about on the Jungle Devo podcast. And I hope you guys are too. Speaking of that, for the Jungle, just kind of want to share a little bit of our heart. Our floor has put a lot of weight onto living out Hebrews 12, verses 1 through 2, which I'll read for us real quick. Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated at the right hand of the throne of God. Ultimately, our goal in this podcast, but ultimately in life, is to just be an ultimate witness of what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ, because he's the ultimate example. And since we're surrounded by people, we want to lay aside all those sins, all the temptations, all the burdens. Man, we've gone through so many different things. Hopefully we'll get to share some testimonies on this podcast. I'm excited for what just is ahead. So I just hope that you listen and ultimately get to see what our heart is when we live out life. We might be funny. We love to play games, lots of sarcasm, but our heart is ultimately to reflect Jesus. And so if you have any different topics that you want us to talk about it, throw it in the comments and hopefully we get to those. But until Wednesday, keep your eyes out for the Jungle Devo podcast.